I crushed my ex-wife's hopes after she cheated on me. Bit of background, I'm 36 male as of now. The characters have been a bit altered by their names. Rebecca, my ex-wife, now 34, James, my college buddy and the guy Rebecca cheated on me with, Saladin, my other guy friend, Lisa, Saladin's cousin. So Rebecca and I were what you call college sweethearts. We survived college and the hardships of life. Got married in our early 20s. I was 25, she was 23. Ever since we got married, things were rocky. Not from the start, but situation-wise. I was in medical while she was an accounting major. There were things that was okay with me, but was not with her. Despite being married, she acted like she was a free bird. She was. It's a good thing, but there was marital neglect from her side. 2016, she joins James' company as an accountant because it pays well. I was happy because, hey, he's a buddy of mine. Slowly, she started to complain about things that were in place. She didn't like where we lived, had problems with everything I did. She did not like the food she used to. I'm a great cook and she loved my food. Our fights intensified by a margin where she would call me names. I'm good for nothing. She earned more than me. Coming to this part later on, drastic turn was here that Rebecca and James were hanging out with our set of mutual friends. I got the word of it and it seemed off. I confronted both of them, to which they both said it was a sudden plan and I was ours in the field. Coincidentally, it happened on the same day I was out of the city. They might have planned it beforehand, which I'm not sure of. 2017, the year my marriage blew up. So I was sure there was something because my bedroom became a fucking dead one. I was increasingly paranoid, and whenever I tried to address things, I was turned down. Now I'm not a saint. I constantly yelled at her to tell me what was going on because there was just something off. Your favorite person rarely talks or does stuff with you and they claim it's nothing. Does this sound okay? It was also the year we were at our peak financially because our debts were paid off. My friends and I decided to open up a medical shop that provided a medicine shop as a side venture. So one of the friends was Saladin. He proposed that we celebrate it at a pub. When we go there, I notice a girl that looks exactly like Rebecca. She was dancing with another man and it was quite dark. I get a closer look and lo and behold, it's Rebecca and James dancing hand to hand. I wasn't much bothered about it because, hey, they're friends. I was here with my colleagues and she was there with her. But it was bothering me. I decided to send her a text asking where was she. She's usually on her way home at this time. She told me she was already at home. Now that was a red flag. I told her to stop lying because she wasn't. I could clearly see her that she was getting paranoid and told me she was on her way. She left the pub afterward. That night I asked her about James. The look she gave me was as if she saw a ghost because she was not expecting that question. That look was what that told me something was definitely up. If you ask your so about a friend, they should act normally, but the way she acted was abnormal. That night itself, I snooped her phone. Curiosity was killing me. The password was changed so I couldn't see the phone. The next day, I saw her password and snooped it. There were hundreds of thousands of texts right there. Countless nudes, calling him daddy, degrading comments. My wife and I made a vow to each other that if there was ever anything we needed to explore, we would be transparent to each other. She broke that vow too. She confided about him how much thrill she felt that night at the pub. I went through everything. What hurts the most was she herself told me if one of us ever got bored of the other or needed to spice things up, we will let each other know. She destroyed everything. I couldn't look at her the way I used to anymore. I cried the night and confronted her stupidly without any evidence the next morning. She yelled at me and stormed out after telling me I was abusive and insane. She told all our friends that I was abusive. That afternoon, they created a messenger group where everyone ganged up to troll me. When she came home that night, she told me she was in love with James and wants a divorce. I told her to talk first, but it turned into her berating me. I yelled at her and she called the cops. I was asked to spend the night elsewhere. I went to my sister's, and when I returned the next morning, James' car was there. He spent the night here. There was nothing needed to explain. He was doing it on purpose. Hell, she was doing it on purpose. I went to see a lawyer. As we did not have a prenup, she already filed a complaint about me being abusive. It didn't look good for me. Not one did she try to apologize. Not one did she try to make amends. Our country's law doesn't count infidelity as a fault. So even with that, she's entitled to half of my everything. But her complaint can sew me up. A few days after that, where I was still living with my sister, I tried contacting Rebecca, but she won't reply to me. Rebecca hit me up telling me we should get divorced. That's it. 12 years of relationship, 4 years of marriage, and she ends it with a text. I was fucking convinced that James was taking my place. She handed me the divorce papers. Everyone from our friend circle was convinced that I was a fucking abuser and James was her savior. She did the right thing to cheat on me. We were officially divorced during the start of 2018. She was already dating James open during our divorce. He was her life. I lost my job, my house, my reputation, and her little affair. I had to change the city to move someplace else to restart again. Saladin helped me massively in that fresh start. He got me a decent paying job that was nowhere like my previous one, but it was better than the rest. We became close buddies while I was working to earn back what I had. Dating life was over for me. I just couldn't trust anyone. It was a complete NC between me and Rebecca. The last I heard was she moved in with James. They were doing great. Revenge part. End of 2020, my life was actually blowing up. COVID helped our cause with broken backs, but filled our pockets. Our pharmacy venture turned huge, so I was able to make much money. I met a friend of mine from whom I got a tip that James and Reb were done. James cheated on her and left her. But Reb had a child with James. He was absent since birth, so he did not sign the birth certificate, so Reb is raising that child as a single parent. She tried dating, but she was not over me or James. The audacity. Part of me was happy with it, but gosh, I really missed her. I sent her an email asking how was she doing. She wasn't expecting to hear from me. We exchanged emails and reconnected. Our first meet was in 2021 after several years. She looked like shit. She gained weight, lost the charm, and looked utterly exhausted all the time. Frankly, just her look made my blood boil and triggered me, but I also wanted to take my revenge on her. Life had already done that on my part, but I'm an asshole. I wasn't done with her. She told me about James and reopened the earlier wounds. I got my closure, which made me feel a bit better, I guess. She said she was sorry. She wasn't thinking straight what she was doing. James poisoned her mind against me. I told her I will forgive her if she comes clean to everyone and clears my name out. She did that, losing a lot of friends, but she deserved that. My name was clean. She wanted us to date again, clear words, make me raise that asshole James' child. I told her I would agree to it, but we needed to date and marry first. Only then I will legally adopt her child. That little guy is adorable, and I had taken a liking to him. Here is the truth, I was already seeing someone. Pretty safe to say I was cheating on that woman with Rebecca. She was a client of mine from a different country. We were in an LDR. Reb and I were living in different cities, so I never moved in with her. But I played it well by saying I need to travel for business. So I was only getting Rebecca's hopes up to crush her like she crushed me. We were getting intimate, but condoms were used. Rebecca felt she found love again. I pushed her to therapy to get her to be normal again. Everyone was commenting on how she was getting more happier with me. She would praise and then say sorry. Do little things for me that she used to when she was married to me. Trust me when I say, I had a lot of emotions attached to this woman. I considered my revenge if it was a good thing to break her heart. She might be traumatized for a lifetime. But she did not think of my heart, and we were married. Why should I think of hers? Her birthday was coming up last year in October. The lockdown was eased up and my someone, it's Lisa, was in my city. For the birthday gift, I grabbed Rebecca for ring shopping. She picked out her favorite ring that I got it wrapped. She was elated because of that. That night, she came up to me crying that she was sorry for hurting me. She looked genuinely remorseful, but I had no feelings for her except indifference. Lisa was Saladin's cousin. I already told her everything beforehand. She was against my revenge idea, but I managed to convince her somehow. She was uncomfortable with it, but understood that I needed to go through it. On Rebecca's birthday, I drove her to our favorite spot when we were married. It's a nature's place. Lisa was already waiting there. I introduced Lisa to Rebecca that Lisa's my GF. Rebecca went white and asked me what does she mean. What is she then? I introduced her to Lisa as Rebecca, my ex-wife and friends with benefits. There and then, I proposed to Lisa with that ring. Rebecca went man and started yelling, to which I replied, how the F can she expect us to work out when she nuked us? I'm never dating a dirtbag like her again. She asked me again and again if we meant nothing. I told her nope. Sleeping with her was compensation for the pain. I got her to clear out the pain she put me through. Lisa was holding me back. She saw Rebecca was hurting. I told Rebecca that she needs to leave. She told everyone that I cheated and I was an asshole. This time, I took it as a pride. Everyone saw the dirtbag she was. She cheated on me and made me pay a high price for a falsified abuse. Now she wants me to raise her kid and date her? The last we connected was in December of last year. She wrote me a letter that how much sorry she is because she can't imagine putting me through the pain that she already put me through. She hoped I live a better life. Last I heard, she was completely uninterested in dating. Look shit. As of me, I and Lisa stopped dating. There were differences between us. I'd like to add an edit. People who are saying I'm worse than my ex. Can you please, at least for the love of God, point out how am I worse than her? She cheated. I loved her and she fucking cheated on me. She costed me my home, my job, my image, my reputation, my friends. I was an abuser to everyone. I gave her a taste of her own medicine, yes, by hurting someone else. Now I'm worse than her.